What's poppin', people? It's Dante. Today I'm thinking about how we can use our inner child to cultivate inspiration in our art. And so I find that there are so many things that we can become inspired by, whether it's a book, a zine, a gallery, a show, a movie, a piece of music, something that inspires you externally. However, I think that returning internally to that childlike state of being is where our purest form of inspiration can come from, to allow us to create in the spirit of play. Think of a child. When you were a kid, you would go out and you would play voluntarily, and you would go out to the park, and you had this spirit within you that was guiding you, this sort of inner child, this curiosity. And so when you think about it as an artist, as you grow older, you start to involuntarily make things and have this sort of routine with checklists and guidelines to follow. But I say nay, I say play. I say this is where the act of creation begins. It's through tapping into that internal inner child, that curiosity that sparks within you. And I think this, to me, is the purest form of inspiration. For me, I remember as a child, I would explore in the forest, in the great unknown, all on my own. I would climb trees and sharpen spears, attempting to hunt deer. I would build teepees, and I would go out into the forest all on my own, exploring endlessly. I remember finding caves and swinging from vines and climbing to the tallest trees in the canopy. And so I have this inner childlike creative, this inner childlike courageous, audacious spirit that comes out and plays when I'm on the street, that comes out and plays when I interact with my everyday life, with everything that I do. And it's something that I've carried with me throughout all of the world, through my explorations in the mountaintops of Mexico, to the slums of Mumbai, to the front lines of conflict in Palestine. I find that the act of making photos for me is a way for me to augment my ability to cultivate courage, to cultivate curiosity, and to tap into that childlike inner spiritedness that has me out here in the world playing, following, and obeying my intuition that guides me. And so while we have all of these external forms of inspiration through media, movies, books, etc., I highly encourage you to think about how you were as a child and to return to that state of being, to allow you to create more freely in that spirit of play that isn't burdened by societal norms, that isn't burdened by expectations or an outcome. And so when you create from this autotelic state, simply doing things because you love to do things, like you're just a big kid with a camera exploring the world, this is where our purest forms of creation will derive from. It's from the inner child. And so I encourage you to tap into who you are, and to understand who you are through returning to the childlike state of being, to influence the things that you create.